wanted to talk about this post. You know, as abnormal as my life already was, before the things happened that led to like famous people knowing who I was. Like I at least was not like a famous person or around famous people or around like a lot of really rich people all the time. I mean, for that part of my, like, whether or not I was like had more of a normal life in regard to those things, I did. And so, you know, although the events of the past 2 years have, you know, permanently changed my thoughts about sort of famous people, at least the famous people that I've interacted with, or who, you know, that have been kind of around or not. You know, and the president, even, you know, politics, that kind of thing. You really kind of have to start to pay more attention, because you kind of assume, you know, at least that there's some things that they're not going to do, and then you realize that they're kind of aren't. But anyway, there's a side. There's not the president so much, because it was soon after I got to be aware of him that I realized what kind of person he was. And so, you know, I try to stay respectful of him for the fact that he's the president, but he is really, you know, really sleazy and awful, a bad person, really a terrible person. You know, but for celebrities, various people, you know, it's not that I don't think that they are the way that they are. It's just that I can still remember when I thought of them, I think, like, I didn't know that much about them. Like, I didn't really pay attention to their lives. I didn't ever look them up on the internet. Like, I didn't know. Like, I had no idea. You know, I mean, it was like maybe when I was like, I don't know, like in my very early 20s, there were a couple people that kind of interested me, but it was not like I stalked them, or, you know what I mean? It's like you get over that. You get over stuff like that. So, you know, for like my adult life, I was just trying to have my life work, which was really difficult. Like, my own life like took up enough of my time, as bad as it was, right? But I still remember when there were people and, you know, movies and TV shows and things that I liked, and when my like idea of what these people were like was like a positive one. Like, for example, like Tom Hanks. You know, great. What am I supposed to do? Like, I'm in the middle of making a video, right? And then I'm trying. What do? I point. I do this. I do this. It doesn't. You know, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to refilm this video. You know, my life is just in total shambles all the time. So yeah. So this movie, Big, was a really funny movie. It's from years ago. I mean, it's funny to think of it as being an old movie too. You know, I was 13. Yeah, I think I was 13, 14 when it was in the theater and I saw it. And I thought of it last year in regard to like a particular thing which was meant to be, you know, nice and appropriate, and the conglomerate took it. It was like one thing I said once, and the conglomerate took it and turned it into code for child, like support for child molestation, right? And then last night I know, what am I supposed to do? I don't have a television, which is fine. And you know, leaving my house is an ordeal. Every time I leave my house, it's an ordeal. Especially if it's dark out, I have to think about walking wherever it is I'm going, walking home again. You know, and like having like anywhere I'm going to go, I'm going to be harassed. It's going to be difficult and awful. So, you know, I have my computer for, you know, relaxation, entertainment such as I can have, and also old movies. You know, now old movies, or really anything before. I don't know, but certainly before 2010, although I think people were starting to get aware of me before then too. It's something that doesn't have anything to do with me, isn't promoting child molestation, you know what I mean? Like, but for me to watch the movie, for me to try to watch some of the movie at YouTube, I know that the conglomerate would have reacted to it. So that's why I felt like I had to write this, right? And then kind of, like last night, I didn't end up watching it. I ended up watching Toy Story instead. You know, I actually bought Toy Story so I could rent it, you know, bought it from like YouTube, right, and like watched it, and I was like, you know, I was able to enjoy it enough. It's not like things ever, and it's not like I ever really am able to take my mind off what's happening to me, and sort of kind of, I think it was after I watched Toy Story, I sort of thought, you know, again, for however many times it is I think about killing myself like every day, I kind of thought about it again last night, and of course they saw me thinking about it. I got all my pills out, and even like left a couple messages for the New York Times, you know, and it's like, and here's their response, right? I mean, they're just sort of making a big deal out of this. I'm sorry, you have to put this in bold. It's the thing is, the mentality is so like, I don't even want to say childish because it's like an insult to children, just, you know, ridiculous and stupid. No, but it really truly is, though. It's really awful. It's really awful, you know. And it's just, I don't know. There were sometimes I feel that way too, you know, about kind of like sometimes a lot of times it's still kind of difficult for me to believe that famous people even know who I am, or that any of the things that are happening. And so it's a kind of a sad. The sad thing when people are like accusing me, like, these people don't even know who you are, you think they're going to end up with you, blah blah blah. No, I don't, you know. So they're certainly not pursuing any of these people at all, right? But it's like, the sad thing is that, you know, the fact that they do know who I am and have turned my life into what it is, or they really seriously started it. It's the thing, like, the whole number of people in the entertainment industry are the ones who really started, you know, like, my being attacked, and like a lot of people, other people joined in. And so even though they're not the only ones who are persecuting me anymore, it's still, you know, it kind of started with them. And there's that whole idea of like, oh, she's doing this and she's doing that, and really it couldn't be less true. They really are stalking me. They really do have my phone and my computer and my tablet hacked. You know, there really was genuine interest, although I'm getting a little bit older now. I think that's probably, you know, I mean, probably if I were younger and prettier, things wouldn't be quite the way that they are. But it's in terms of, there probably be more genuine interests. I don't know, maybe they would have torn the world apart even more, but now it's about all sorts of other things. It's not just about like a woman that people are interested in, it's about all sorts of other things like power, and, you know, I mean, that's certainly not the only thing about me at this point. But for me, it's like sometimes, you know, it's not like it makes me feel better, but sometimes that's that side of it where it's like, yeah, it's so weird that celebrities even know who I am, and still that memory of what I used to think of them is still kind of there for me. And so sometimes it does kind of interest me a little bit to like maybe watch some of their own movies, or watch an interview here and there, and then I feel like I have to do all this other stuff to defend myself because they show up or people accuse me, but then it doesn't even matter. Then it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. I mean, it's like, here's this. I've never been interested in him. But I remember when I could think of him as being like a good guy. Of course, I don't think that way about him anymore, you know.